Good evening, everyone, and welcome to webinar 3 for the Sunshine Coast Council Level Up program. My name's Kat. I'm from the Creative Collective. I have with me tonight one of your mentors, Luke Humble, who will be presenting with me tonight on communication and collaboration tools. Just bear with me. I'm just going to get my screen into presentation mode. Excellent. So you should have my slide deck on screen at the moment. If anyone is having any dramas viewing, or if my sound's no good for any reason, just Skype in on chat and let us know. So tonight's webinar number 3 in the mix. So last week we had Working Online, which was essentially how to get online with the NBN and get access to a range of sort of digital technology and tools that can help you in your business. So webinar 3, collaborating and communication online. So the Sunshine Coast Level Up program, just to give you a very brief run through for those that are new on the webinar tonight. Level Up program is a Sunshine Coast Council funded program, heavily subsidised kindly by Sunshine Coast Council, to help small and medium businesses connect to the NBN where available and fully utilise digital tools. So over the course of this program, we'll be presenting on a range of different topics, giving you, little sort of bite-sized workshops on various different digital tools and solutions that you can implement in your business to improve productivity, profitability, efficiency, and essentially, ability to work within your business online where possible. So this is my mugshot. My name is Katrina Lee. I'm a partner in the Creative Collective. So the Creative Collective, we were successful in winning the tender to design, develop and implement the Level Up program in conjunction with our sister company, the Training Collective. So very, very briefly, I've been involved with the Creative Collective in some capacity since day dot, 2007. In fact, we're 10 years this year. Have to plan a party for that one. And I've been a partner in the company since 2014. So my background is actually in graphic design and marketing. These days I play more in the digital marketing space. And yeah, I am a trainer and facilitator on the Level Up program, and you will see a little bit more of me as the program progresses. We have with us tonight Luke Humble, so I'll hand over to Luke to give you a bit of an intro to him, but he's a very clever guy. He's a Queensland Government Digital Champion, which essentially means, to get that accolade, he's very, very active in the community with advocating for, digital technology and digital upskilling, etc. So Luke, over to you to introduce yourself properly and let the team know that you're in good hands.
Thank you very much, Katrina. So yes, my name is Luke Humble. I do have that wonderful title, which was bestowed on me earlier this year. I'm actually one of around about 12 here on the Sunshine Coast. And I believe the Sunshine Coast has the most digital champions in one region than anywhere else across Queensland. So go Sunshine Coast. So I've been in this industry now for over 18 years, having built my first website back in the late 90s. I've worked in the UK, in south of France, in New Zealand, and here in Australia. I've been part of a number of startup businesses and other businesses which I've helped grow as well in various different industries, but all of them being around the basis of technology, more specifically digital technology, and how you can use that strategically within your business to help streamline communication, such as obviously this webinar is talking about, and other areas of the business as well. So I'm very much into using digital technology to grow business, and I have a big passion for it, that's for sure.
Fantastic. So these are just, I guess, some of the ways that you can use technology to communicate and collaborate online. So guys, have a look at the screen. Let us know if you're using any of these. Let us know if we've missed any. I mean, there's hundreds of different tools available. But Luke, did you want to maybe run through some of the main ones here?
Yeah, definitely. Well, firstly, I'd probably go bottom right-hand side. I wonder how many of you people actually use email. Probably everyone, if you could stick your hands up now in the room. So definitely email is one of your ways of communicating, but there is some other fantastic ones out here. Now, a lot of people might be thinking that Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp, you're going, well, why is that on there? Well, it's actually, they're pretty handy tools. If you just change your perspective around them, they are about communication, about instant communication, and they're with you all the time. So, you know, sometimes just reframing how you use something in your life can actually help benefit, without a doubt. If we look at some of the groups, LinkedIn groups and Facebook groups, you know, they're very powerful tools for collaboration and sharing information. And obviously, just below Facebook groups there, which is on the bottom left-hand side of your screen, you'll also see Facebook for Work, which we're going to touch upon later on in this webinar. But going straight to the middle top right there, Google Docs, Google Spreadsheets, Google Presentation, and this actual presentation here for the webinar is through Google Presentations. Very powerful tools, and they're free as well. So we'll talk a little bit more about those later on too.
Excellent. And I'll just sort of mention that webinar 4 next week is actually on video conferencing. So some of the tools that we'll touch on tonight, don't freak out if you know it's not too detailed. Tonight is a really a top level look at some of the tools and technology available, and as the program progresses, we will delve deeper into some of these particular areas.
Yeah, definitely.
So I touched on this a moment ago, but how does your business currently communicate online? What new technologies could you potentially trial? So, you know, is there something that you've heard about in business that you're not too sure how it works, but you've heard it's amazing for your particular industry? Or, you know, you've heard that, you know, G Suite is an amazing, you know, tool to replace, say, Office 365 or something like that. But you're just not sure whether it's right for your business. So let us know on the chat if there's yeah, anything that you're hankering to try or currently trialing, and we'll have some question time at the end to cover off individual questions there. So this one here, why isn't email isn't efficient and isn't always necessary? So I don't know about you, Luke, but I get about 300 emails a day, and I mean a lot of it's junk that I can just, you know, go through and delete or mark as read, but it's still very, very time consuming to basically wade my way through that. Are you in the same boat there?
Oh, definitely, definitely. And the thing is that emails are sometimes treated as these passing bits of data or information that can be sent out. You know, somebody has a random thought or a random question, they'll send it there. You know, if we're talking about misleading subject headings or, you know, incorrect attachments, it's just, it opens up this whole playground where you can just be inundated with information. You know, the tools out there, the G Suite and Office 365, which we'll touch on a little bit more further on, they've tried to, you know, work with this by creating what's called as threading. So it's actually bringing certain emails that are around the same subject or same conversation together to make it easier. But even then, it can be really overwhelming, that's for sure.
Yeah, totally. And I don't know about you in your business, Luke, but we find a major frustration for some of the clients that come over to the Creative Collective is POP3 email accounts that, you know, you can open and download email on, say, your laptop, but then, you know, you transfer over to another computer at the office, or you jump on your phone or your iPad, and, you know, you have some emails on one system and not on other systems, and it can be really, really frustrating. So that's a massive bugbear that we find with traditional email, and there are solutions around that as well.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And a lot of people don't realize actually that there's some different ways that emails can actually be, let's just say, downloaded to devices. You know, that POP or POP3, as it's also sometimes referred to, is about downloading and removing. It's a bit like taking mail directly out of your letterbox that's not there. And there's an alternative called IMAP, which is a bit like leaving a copy of that letter in your letterbox. But even still, that becomes really laborious to manage where that data is and who's read it, if it's been read, who's downloaded it. It's just, it can be a big rigmarole.
Yep. And so this is, you know, obviously really topical stuff when we're talking collaboration. So, you know, collaboration to me is not just, you know, conferencing and working with multiple people online, but it's being also to, I guess, sync, you know, documents and things like that across multiple devices, that no matter where you are, what you're doing, you can access those same documents wherever you are. So if you have to use email, there's lots of different options available. I know Luke's an Office 365 guy, which is perfectly fine. I'm a Gmail girl. So with the Creative Collective, we love our Google suite of products, Gmail being one of them. Now, Gmail is a completely free option. I mean, you can sign up to a Google account, get 25 gigabyte per person for Gmail. It's backed up for free. It's super powerful. You know, it's really good from a spam filtering system. You know, there's instant messaging. You've got Google Hangouts, which we'll touch on more in webinar 4, and that's about, you know, video conferencing, just like, you know, what we're doing tonight. You know, you can drag and drop, really amazing filter features. You can put rules in place. The other cool thing I love about Gmail is that you can actually plug in what is called labs into your Gmail. So, you know, canned responses, for example. So I think I'm probably getting a little bit ahead of myself, that we cover this further down the track, but there's some really amazing little tools and features that you can plug into your Gmail to make that system even easier to use. So things like, yeah, canned responses, that if you've got, you know, a sort of response that you send regularly, you can pull that in at basically a click. You know, send later, you know, all sorts of cool things. Plus, you know, being a Google product, sorry, it syncs really well with other Google products, and it's readily available on your phone. So if you're one of those people using POP emails or POP3, if you did move over to a Gmail-based email system, then effectively you can get the same emails on your phone, on your iPad, on your computer without a drama. Our top Gmail tricks, so boomerang, quick searches, labels, filters, and canned responses. So boomerang is pretty cool, that if you need to highlight an email, so it's really easy to send, you know, 20, 40 emails in a day. And, you know, unless you're sort of rifling back through your sent items, sometimes it's easy to sort of, you know, forget that you need to follow up an email if you haven't heard back and things like that. So Boomerang is a really cool tool where you can sort of set Gmail to remind you, say, in 2 days if you haven't had a response, or likewise if you've received an email and, you know, you just want to sort of park it there at the moment. You don't want to leave it as unread, but you want to get a little reminder that, okay, on Friday, you know, you need to reply to that. You might be waiting to hear back from another colleague to respond or something like that. Quick searches, so there's a lot of little shortcuts that you can use in your Gmail bar for finding a particular email. So for me, to try and wade through all those emails I get on a daily basis, I use rules such as is unread plus in my inbox folder, or is unread and is a Google Calendar notification. So I can sort of filter my unread emails based on those searches and then do a mass mark as read or a mass delete, etc. Labels are really cool. So labels is where you can, you know, basically add I guess, your own color coding or your own filing system within your inbox. So you can use colors or particular text labels and things like that. So, you know, you might highlight all your emails from clients as a particular label or a particular color. Filters are pretty cool as well. I use filters a great deal. So, for example, just to use that example of, you know, calendar notifications, I can set up a filter that if it's a calendar notification, it bypasses the inbox and might go directly, you know, to my trash, or might go directly to a subfolder. If it's an invoice, if it's got the word invoice in the subject, it might go direct to an accounts related subfolder within my inbox. So that's pretty cool. And canned responses I touched on as well, that if there's regular emails that you send, you know, you can save them as a canned response, and basically at the click of a button, you can quick and easily pull that into the body of your email, you know, chop and change various bits as you need and send that off. So there's lots of tools for efficiency.
The canned responses, actually, I'm just going to jump on as well.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
a very good time saver, and the fact, as you were saying, if there's things that you typically get similar kind of responses all the time, it means that you can set up these email responses, just known as canned messages. So, say for example, you ask for somebody to update their account details with you, so you've got their correct address. You can have a canned response to thank them for updating their address with them, rather than having to write out maybe 2 or 3 sentences or maybe 2 or 3 paragraphs. It's just there. So it's a big time saver if you use something like that.
Absolutely. And are there similar tools, Luke, with Office 365?
Yes, there are. There are similar tools, and some of them are actually built into Office 365. So it's the same principle. You need to activate them as an add-on or a plugin. But yeah, there's similar tools in Office 365 that allow you to do that. And my team at our Talent Creative do use the canned responses quite a bit, where it is on standard requests or for information as such.
Yeah, very cool.
There's nothing like being personal at the end of the day, though. So when use canned responses correctly, otherwise you then become a little bit too automated and maybe a bit too unhuman in your contacts. So
Absolutely.
definitely use them correctly.
Yeah, very much so. On screen at the moment are some couple of tools that I say will save your life. So I use Unroll Me and I use Sanebox, and I absolutely love them. So just to give you a little insight to the two of these, Unroll Me is basically like a mass unsubscribe tool. So I believe it's free to use. You punch in your email address. So if you've got a particular email address that you just, you know, over the years, you've had for 10 years, and, you know, you would just subscribe to so many newsletters that you get sick of, you know, deleting or marking as read. And, you know, there's just so many of them to unsubscribe from. Unroll Me, basically, you can pop in your email address. It'll basically search your email and work out what subscriptions you're on, and you can basically select all or select particular ones and actually unsubscribe yourself. So there's a similar tool, I believe, which is Unsubscribe Me, which is another one.
Yep.
Sanebox is a really cool tool as well. Again, I absolutely love this one. Does require a little bit of training, if you like. So basically you implement this and you have, you know, sane later, sane archive, and sane spam, etc. Basically, if you are consistently marking a particular email sender as read or as trash, Sane Later will recognize that behavior and automatically mimic that behavior on your behalf. So in the early part, I found it took a little bit of training, in the sense that, you know, I had to pop into those folders and just make sure that there was nothing that I actually needed to read that somehow was making it over there. But, you know, with a little bit of training early on, that particular tool saves me hundreds and hundreds of emails every day, which is really cool. ProsperWorks is a CRM that works in directly with Gmail. You can use it in your web-based browser, or you can use it and plug it into Gmail. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, Luke, I might hand over to you for some of your favorites in the mix here.
Yeah, perfect. So my one that I've added in there is LinkedIn. So for those of you that use LinkedIn, it's a business social network. So not so much about sharing cuddly photos of yourself with your daughter. It's really about how you're doing in your business and career. There's actually integration between Outlook and LinkedIn, so that when somebody emails you, it'll actually connect to your LinkedIn account. And if depending on whether you're connected or not to them, it'll bring through their data and their information, including their photo. So you get a bit of background behind them, their current job, title, and so on and so forth. So it's really good for getting a lot of context about, the person you're having a conversation with, because as we said before, there's a lot of pitfalls with email, and one of them is, you may not get enough context about who you're actually receiving the information from. Evernote is a really good note-taking tool. It's got lots of different levels to it. I'm not going to go too much into it, but for those of you that use Evernote, there's an integration with the Outlook, which is really great, and that you can share the information. And for those of you that know of, and maybe even have used Uber for traveling around, there's an integration with Outlook for Uber. So based on meetings, you can actually schedule and call up and book Uber to take you from A to B.
Very cool. Okay, so evaluating your company's efficiency when it comes to how to communicate. So we're talking productivity tools now in many respects. So I guess, in terms of evaluating where your time goes in business on a day-to-day basis, it's much like if you were keeping a logbook for your car. And I'm sure there's many business owners on the webinar tonight that at various points, in their business life have had to keep a logbook to substantiate to their accountant as to, how many kilometers you're doing and where you're traveling, etc. It's exactly the same with your technology, and some of these tools, which, Luke will go into, are really cool for actually assessing where you're spending your time in the business and where your team is spending their time as well.
Definitely. So, I actually asked myself this question last year: what am I actually spending my time on? And it actually led me to find and to use the first one on that list, called rescue time. So this is it's actually plugged into my computer, and it's running all the time in the background. I'm going to use the word time several times now, aren't I? And so it's tracking everything that I'm interacting with, whether it be a web browser, whether it be Outlook, whether it be Slack or Skype or using Word. And it records all this information. It even looks at the websites that I go to in the browser as well. And then I get this lovely report sent to me each month, and you can see that on your screen now. And it gives me this breakdown about my productivity and where my time was spent. Now, when you start to think about how precious time is, you kind of lose a bit of context as to how you spend that time, because you go, oh, well, I just I worked on emails for half an hour this morning. Well, you find out actually it was probably more like 50 minutes. And as part of that, you had to jump onto a website to get some information. And so you ended up in the browser. And then before you know it, you checked a notification, you're in Facebook, and you spend 3 minutes there. This captures everything. It's unbiased. It gives you that feedback, and you can actually use this to make informed decisions. There is a way that you can also implement this for your staff as well, so you can get a better context about how everyone's working in the tools. It does work out of the box, but if you tweak it a little bit and give it some background information. So, for example, if you look at the middle bottom of the screen there, it says 2 hours 59 minutes on go.xero.com. So if you then go and state that Xero is a finance or accounting software, and I believe that's going to be touched on one of the Level Up programs later on webinars. Mm-hmm. You can actually state that that's a business activity, and so it recognizes that and then moves that into your productivity score, which then increases. Yeah. And you can set targets as well to say, well, currently my productivity score is 63%. Over the rest of this month, I want to increase that to 70, and it will help you along the way. Yeah, very cool. I myself have used rescue time as well, and I love it. It almost becomes a little bit of a time distraction itself sometimes, because you sort of pop in and go, oh, I'm productive this week, I'm productive today. Time save is another one, and I believe last week Yvette briefly touched on
Chrome extensions with you. TimeSave is a Chrome extension, so you can add it onto your browser. I've got a screenshot here. I mean, this is just a sort of gimmicky screenshot. So essentially, if there's particular sites that you just know you get terribly, distracted on, Facebook, for example, or I don't know, something to do with kids or family or whatever, and you can block those sites out for particular time periods of the day. So it's almost like a timetable for when you're going to access sites for social use. I find this screenshot so amusing that you can fight the urge and not access that site. Or you can give in, but you've got to click the button 50 times. So you've got to be, really committed to breaking the rule to actually break it.
Yeah, and this one, it's actually a good one on top of rescue time, because rescue time is about monitoring and giving feedback, whereas time save is about directly informing and manipulating you into your decision process about whether you want to save time or waste time. So, this is that next level or next layer above what actually rescue time does.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to recap, if you weren't on webinar 2, you can basically just Google Chrome extensions and bring up the application in your browser and be able to search all the extensions that are available. And there's some really cool little gadgets in there.
Definitely. They're a bit like accessories for us, like a new watch or a new necklace or something like that. That's essentially what Google extensions are to the browser.
Absolutely. So there's some other ones on here. MinuteDoc, which is more of a sort of time tracking system. MinuteDoc, and I mean, there's lots of time tracking systems available. I actually did the research. We were sort of migrating ourselves to a new time tracking system within the last 12 months. And I was so overwhelmed that there was literally hundreds and hundreds available. So a little tip here is work out, whether in an ideal world that time tracking system needs to talk to any of your other systems. So in our particular case, we went with MinuteDoc because it's, integrated really, really nicely with Xero, and also some automation tools, which we'll touch on later on in the program as well. Trigger app, I'm less experienced with. Luke, have you got any experience with that one?
I have actually played with it a little bit. So it's a really good tool if you've got a client base that you need to manage your projects on and track your time. So think of it a little bit like your MinuteDoc, but just with deeper project management and analytics integration. So maybe taking it the next level, actually, above what the MinuteDoc does. So it's a really good tool. I have played with it. It wasn't suitable for what I was looking for Italic, but we have looked at it and recommended it to a number of our clients just because it ticks the box for them. So it's a really good sort of all-encompassing tool.
Yeah. So my just overarching recommendation on anything like this is there's usually lots of different tools available in each category. So do your research, do your due diligence, sign up for trials and see how those systems sort of work in, with your other systems before committing to them. I sort of feel like you almost need to use some of these applications in like a beta mode where you're actively using them with real day-to-day stuff to get a feel for, how user-friendly they are to use. But some of the tools that we'll touch on throughout the webinar and throughout future webinars are ones that either us or our mentors like Luke who are presenting have actually used, tried and tested. Okie dokie. So a little bit of homework for you. So we're really curious to know how much time your team is losing in, I guess, lack of efficiency or productivity due to email or perhaps, other distractions in the workplace, such as Facebook. So use some of the technologies that we've shared with you already and evaluate your situation. If you're a full program participant and you've got access to the Level Up closed Facebook group, we'd love your feedback on, once you've implemented these tools, how you found them. If you've currently used them, feel free to chat in and let us know how you find them. But a little bit of homework there for you if you haven't used them previously. Cool. So a bit of a case study here, Luke. Take us through this.
Yes, so this lady here that you see pictured, her name's Amanda, and she had an issue in her family whereby she was trying to work out what people are doing all at any one time. And so she actually created a family calendar. And the idea is that you've got 5 columns, and at the top of each column you put a family name, and you've got the rows that represent the different day of the month, and you've got a month snapshot in front of you. So it gives you a clear shot of what's going on for that month for your entire family. Students have used it for the different courses. Couples have used it for their pets. There's loads of different ways to implement it. The problem that she was having in her business as it was growing is she was having troubles both keeping on top of emails to all her customers, because she was just doing it on her own. She, as you can probably see in the photo there, she's got a laptop, she's got a mobile phone, and just below her laptop to the right hand side there's also a wireless mobile dongle as well, because she was actually quite regional where she was living. So she had to rely on digital technology to communicate. So we used a little bit like canned responses for Gmail, and set this up for her to help automate a lot of responses that she was getting from customers. Looked at moving her to cloud email so that her emails synchronized between her phone and her laptop, which just that move alone, we were mentioning about pop email and the downloading and emails being on multiple devices but not synced, just that one move alone helped streamline her business dramatically. We also helped her move her website to integrate with Xero for bookkeeping, and that's going to be touched on later on in the Level Up program. Integrated with her website, and also gave her some other tools to help track her time. So all of these, we actually got them to talk all together, which gave her some incredible, powerful clarity over what her business was doing, but also allowed for her to collaborate so much easier, especially with the print files and all the designs for her calendars. She had that on Dropbox, which allowed for her to then share that with designers and her printers to collaborate and to do. No different to using the Docs facility in the G Suite. It was about having those documents in one place where everyone can work on them together. So, she's really gone from strength to strength. And instead of her going to the post office 3 times a day to post these things, she's not going at all now. Instead of flying over to the printers to discuss all the printouts with them, she's doing it in the cloud remotely from where she is. So it's really given her a lot of freedom. So, these tools that we're talking about, evaluate where the pains are in your business, where you can really help optimize your workflow, communicate better, not just with your staff, but also those externally to you, maybe even your customers. Once you find out where those gaps are, where those pains, there's a lot of these tools which will help fill them, that's for sure.
Absolutely. So, with all these tools that we're discussing, some are free, some are paid. Again, it comes back to your due diligence and really evaluating how much time, is that tool going to save you, or, how much money is it going to make you and your team and increase productivity. Sometimes, an application that might cost a subscription of $100 a month is so worth it because it saves you, 10 hours a week or even 5 hours a week or whatever it may be. I will just mention too, we mentioned TriggerWrap. Now, one of our digital champions on the program, Andrea Martins, I believe actually works at TriggerWrap. So if you do have further questions on that application, again, jump into the Facebook group if you're a full program participant, and utilize our champions, the likes of Luke and Andrea and some of the other amazing talent that's available to you. Righty-o, so over to collaboration. So, I mean, there's a technical definition here on screen for you. I don't need to rehash on this, but I guess from my perspective, collaboration is just the ability to work simultaneously in real time with multiple colleagues, more than 2 people, no matter where you're located. So you don't necessarily have to be in the same room. In our particular business, we've got people located all over the place. I'm based in Newcastle. My business partner and the majority of our team is based on the Sunshine Coast. So collaboration for us is, using tools like Skype and Google Docs and being able to work as if we were, sitting around the same computer or in the same room. Luke, what's your spin on collaboration? How do you use it in your business?
Yeah, I look at it. It's the collaboration side of thing is so important, and it's been important since the day businesses began. We just have different ways to collaborate now, and because we're such a globally connected world, we forget that actually, you know what, it is okay for somebody to be in a different location, especially when you've got the tool to communicate. You know, we've got clients in the UK, and we collaborate with them, you know, seamlessly. Albeit with a slight time delay, but seamlessly on documents and information. Our team is based here on the Sunshine Coast. You know, you're down in Newcastle. I'm up on the Sunshine Coast here now, helping you, and we're collaborating on this. So, you know, it really is about finding the right tools and helping each other to be efficient in the task that you're trying to complete.
Absolutely. And I mean, just to give you some practical examples, you know, technology has enabled, you know, healthcare practitioners to be able to give health consultations, you know, outside the immediate area that they work by using tools like Skype, for example. These days you can actually, you know, go online to get a doctor's certificate. So you see, you know, you basically have a doctor's consultation online, and you know, you get your doctor's certificate to satisfy your employer. Actually, legit, that happened to us on one occasion. You know, so you know, all this technology is really enabling you to do business, you know, far beyond, you know, your immediate area, which is really, really cool. So I guess these are some of the reasons why we would use online collaboration tools, and you know, these are the don't you just hate it when, and these are some of, I guess, the challenges or the bugbears, you know, with using traditional, you know, applications like Microsoft Word and version-based type systems. So you know, we hate it when we create a document and accidentally overwrite it, or you know, the computer crashes or the program crashes and you haven't saved it and you lose a whole heap of data, sorry, a whole heap of work. You know, when you send a document to someone and you lose version control, or there's so many, you know, versions of a document that you know, you start to lose track which is the most up-to-date one. You're reliant on people using adequate file naming mechanisms to keep track of what is the latest version. You know, if you're on a deadline and you really need to pull other colleagues or employees onto the job just to help you, you know, punch out that proposal or that tender application or whatever it may be, you know, when you're working on a document that's stored locally on your computer, it's very difficult to collaborate on that kind of stuff. You know, for us being a creative business, and Luke, I'm sure you're much the same, you know, you do have days where you're feeling, you know, a lack of inspiration or not as creative, and it's unreal to be able to, you know, pull other people into it and into a project and have a sounding board and get that creative, you know, or, you know, injection, you know, into a brainstorming session or whatever it may be.
Definitely.
The other one is obviously, you know, when it's a version-based document, you know, you can't necessarily work on it simultaneously. You know, you've got different operating systems, different versions of software, etc. So if they are bugbears for your business, here's how you could collaborate online. So tools like Google Docs, Office 365, and you know, other really cool tools available can be used for some of these examples. So you know, whether you're a service-based business or a bricks and mortar type business, you know, there's ways that you can use these tools to collaborate. So for us, and I'm interested to hear some of your faves, Luke, but for us, it's, you know, some of those things I just touched on a moment ago. So putting together proposals, brainstorming sessions, tender applications, online meetings. My gosh, probably 80% of my meetings, you know, are actually via Skype versus, you know, face-to-face. But Luke, your insights into how some of these tools could be used to collaborate in various different types of businesses.
Definitely. So if we talk about business plans, that's about everyone getting together, or even just strategic planning, whether it be a digital strategy, marketing strategy, growth strategy, having that document, inviting the right people. And this is obviously key here. It's not that you create a document that's just publicly available. You invite people to help collaborate on it with you, and you all put something in there. It's fantastic. Brainstorming is a really good use of online collaboration tools, whether you're doing it through Facebook Messenger or Facebook group, whether you're doing it through an online document for collaboration, whether you're doing it through Skype and having a chat about it rather than just writing something. These are all fantastic ways that we've utilized technology to collaborate better online. But definitely, I see the big wins are when you've got the big documents to work on, and it's more than just one person that needs to contribute to it. If you're talking about big proposals, well, yes, there's going to be the business owner, CEO, MD, whatever the title might be, that is going to be working on this because they've got a vested interest. There might be some sales or accounts person that needs to talk about what they're selling in there. You might have a finance person to make sure that you've got the finance breakdown correctly in there and what you're proposing. You might have some other staff members that are specialists in certain areas. Maybe they're actually constructing something, maybe they're building something, maybe they're developing something digital, and they need to put in their information too. It's not just a case of one person writes it. It's actually quite a few people come together. So we've definitely seen big benefits when there's been large documents, but still benefits on the smaller ones. And definitely online meetings, incredible. Somebody's maybe a little bit sick and they need to stay home, they can't come into work, but you need to talk to them about something, 5 minutes on a quick Skype call and you've got all the information you need. Rest at home and get over it.
Absolutely. Curious to hear how many people on the webinar tonight are also mums or dads to young children. I mean, working around kids is a massive one. I've got a 4-year-old myself, and I'm sure I'm not alone that, sick and can't go to daycare or whatever it may be. Sometimes you do need to sort of, do the juggle and, juggle meetings that you can't necessarily miss or reschedule around being at home around a little one, and, Skype meetings and the ability to jump online, for meetings that you would otherwise be face-to-face on is, just invaluable. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a demo on a Google Doc, just to sort of show you what it looks like and some of the stuff that you can do. It's so easy to use. But the great thing about Google Docs, and, Luke and I can totally appreciate, the chosen software of each business. And that's what this program is about. It's an objective view at all the tools and all the technology out there available to you, and it's about personal preference, and it's about what fits your business. For us, it's G Suite and the suite of Google products, Google Docs included. So why I love Google Docs, there's no software required. All you need is an internet connection. You don't need to buy licenses for Microsoft Office. It's all available to you through Google. You can create and edit Word documents, spreadsheets, presentations, create forms, collate responses, etc. really, really easily. The other thing I love about Google is any Word document, any Excel document, any PowerPoint presentation can be opened in Google Docs. It works very, very similarly. I've actually had PowerPoint open today because a client provided me a PowerPoint presentation I needed to edit. And I actually imported that into Google Presentations to edit. And then as soon as I was done with it, I exported it back to PowerPoint to supply back to the client. And that was because my preferred method of working was actually in Google Presentations. So it speaks seamlessly with, to either open Microsoft documents in Google Docs or to download Google Docs for those programs. You can sort documents into folders, which is really cool. It's got everything you love about the Google search engine for finding stuff is available throughout the suite of Google products. So search is really powerful in Gmail. It's really, really powerful in Google Docs. Some amazing little hacks and shortcuts you can use in your search bar for filtering results. You can share and collaborate on documents with other people, which I'll give you a very quick demo on in a moment. It can auto save, so amazing. You know, you don't need to be saving every couple of minutes on a document. You don't have to worry about, you know, if your battery dies or your computer crashes, or it, you know, has a little meltdown and you get that spinning wheel of death for 5 minutes before it freezes. Google Documents do auto save and you can come back into them as soon as your computer reboots. And yeah, we touched on that. So you can upload emails and Microsoft documents straight into Google.
Yeah, there are some pretty good points here that you've made. But one of the biggest things I like to point out to our clients that we work with in businesses that I mentor is that unlike using a desktop app, which typically is just associated with Microsoft Office, because everything is up in the cloud with Google, it means that if your computer dies, you don't lose your data. Or if you forget your laptop and it's back at home and you go to the office, you can use any computer, log into your Google account and access everything like you were just on your original laptop. So it's a really good tool for moving around. And that's, I think, something that isn't really shouted enough about.
Yeah, absolutely. The other point too is that all your documents are actually backed up and stored on the cloud, so you're not eating into your local computer hard drive space, to actually store those documents. If you're like me and you like those creature comforts of being able to save documents to your computer and access them and save them off really easily without going through the browser, there are also add-on extensions that you can have to actually download Google Drive to your computer to locally save documents as well. So another one that does that same thing is Dropbox. So there'll be more later on in the program on you know, storage options for working on the cloud as well. We'll cover off things like Dropbox in more detail then. But just to reiterate, Google is a completely free product. So here's a little screenshot of what Google Drive looks like, and just bear with me. I'm just going to escape my screen here. And Luke, can you tell me, is my screen is still up? Yeah.
Yep, I can see Google Drive right in front of me now.
Beautiful. So I'm going to show you a document very, very quickly in the interest of time that we actually collaborated on as a team last year. So it was our Telstra Business Awards application. I'm just going to show you how easy it is to save that in a folder. So you come up here and you click on a folder and you can move an item around. I'm going to come over here and I can click share. So I can share this with anyone with a Google account, or in fact, anyone with an email address. If they've got an email address, they may be able to access it but not edit. There's a nice handy share link that if once I've shared a document with, say, a vet, and I need to, you know, provide that document to her really quickly, I just send her the link. So really nice and handy. You're not sending, you know, 10 megabyte files through email. I'm going to show you revision history. So this is pretty cool. Where are we? See revision history. So as you can see at the time, you know, these are all, I guess, our versions or our dates of editing on this document. So, you know, a couple of late night stints in the mix there. But you can see, you know, this document was touched by a vet, was touched by me, it was touched by Tamara, another colleague on our team. So numerous people could be working on this document at the same time. The cool thing is that if I'm on here and working and, you know, one of my colleagues is working at the same time, they get a little icon up here in the top right-hand corner. So I can see if, you know, Luke's on this document working at the same time. You can see my cursor here. If Luke was on this document collaborating with me, he might have like a little pink cursor that would say, you know, Luke Humble. So I can see where he's typing. I can actually see him type before my eyes, which is really, really cool. You cannot do that with, you know, Microsoft Office 2003, and I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, some of the people participating in this program are still using old versions of software such as that.
Definitely. Office 365 has a similar option, but it's about you still have to use it in the browser, a bit like Google Docs. But yeah, if you're using some of the old desktop software for Microsoft Office, yeah, you're just missing that amazing collaboration feature, really do.
Yeah, just on revision history, you can actually go back to a particular date and actually see the version of that document at that date. You can copy and paste, you can roll back, you can do all sorts of cool stuff like that. So it's amazing if you've worked on a document and then you realize, oh my God, there's, you know, a whole section missing, and how did that get deleted? Just go back through your revision history, find the version where that was in place, copy and paste it, and you know, pop it back into the current version. So ways you can use Google Docs or similar to collaborate. So take us through some of these, Luke.
All right. So let's start with the exporting your accounts data and importing it directly into Google spreadsheets. Now, if you're using MyOb or QuickBooks or anything like that, you can bring that straight into Google spreadsheets and allow you to break it down even further. But then, as you just saw, or just shown that live demo about collaborating, you can bring in your business advisors. And so they can then start taking a look at that data and giving you feedback on it, making tweaks or adjustments, and helping your business. So there's a fantastic opportunity there. Definitely when it comes to running the monthly company reports, you can share those with who you need to, the right people at the right time, and give them the right access as well. So of course, the last thing you want to do is maybe give a stakeholder editable access to a document. So you can control all of that, which is a great thing to do. Presentations, you're looking at one right now, which is creating Google Docs, and we actually collaborated on this document, didn't we?
We absolutely did.
Yep. And that is not for show. We actually did collaborate on this this presentation together, and make tweaks and adjustments, and slot bits of information in and work on it together. And that really helped us, especially as we are in two very different locations. You've also got the Google form, which allows you to create forms to capture data, and this can be turned into surveys as well. So if you want to get feedback from your customers about how you're doing, or how that project went, or how can you better serve them, you can create these forms and send them out, and that data can then be pulled through into a spreadsheet for you to analyze, which is awesome.
Yeah, and there's sort of templates for all different types of forms. If you're hosting an event and you need to collect RSVPs, you can do that, and then, you know, it'll automatically collate all of those RSVPs into a Google spreadsheet for you. So really, really handy. In the interest of time, I'm going to skip ahead. This presentation is recorded. So if we've covered off something quite quickly, or you know, you want to have a closer look at some of the tools on screen, you can watch the presentation back. You know, of course, if you're a full program participant, you've got the online portal with a whole heap of resources available in there as well. So quick exercise here is consider how your business could use Google Docs or similar, you know, Office 365 or whatever it may be to collaborate. Note your ideas, trial them in your business, test some of these tools out, and let us know how you go. I've just mentioned here that you can access a workbook to place notes within the online resource portal. So I know I've mentioned, you know, full program participants and, you know, the resource portal a few times. I'll just go into that at the end of the webinar. You don't have to be a full program participant, though, of course, to access some of this great content on demand, if you would just like particular topics and things like that. So over to Slack. Now, Luke is a Slack expert. I can't say I've used it. I've heard heaps about it. I'm really excited to hear more about it. Tell us what it does.
So Slack is, in its simplest form, a chat tool. But that chat tool is about bringing teams together to talk about common interests. So let's just say it's a project. Now, that project could be about bringing a new product line to your business. And so you create what's referred to in Slack as a channel, just somewhere where you'd actually talk about that. And you think about a channel a bit like a TV channel. You get certain information through that channel. So you create this channel. It's a little bit techy because it uses what's known as a hashtag, hence why you can see a bit of that hashtag as part of its logo there on the right. Now, the benefit of that means that if you're talking to somebody directly, i.e. you're messaging them, communicating, talking to them, on one-on-one, you can actually use the hashtag to reference a channel, and it will put that information in that channel, that conversation there. So it's a great way of linking stuff in. You know, how many times have you been talking to somebody in the office about a particular project, and then you send a separate email to someone else and you forget to mention that conversation that you've had? Well, this is where it brings it all together. One of the other great things about Slack is it's got these add-ons, a little bit like mentioned about the browser extensions in Chrome and also in Google, having their different apps in there. Slack actually allows you to integrate new features as well. One of them that I love is it's called a birthday bot. So once we actually integrated it into Slack, it actually asked all my staff what their birthday was. And as part of that, it then made sure that I got a reminder a week before to let me know that there was going to be a staff birthday. And then on the day of their birthday, there was a public announcement to celebrate that it was their birthday so that everyone got involved. There's lots of little add-ons and tools like that which are really good. And Slack it's free to use. There is a paid version which gives you a few sort of enterprise level features, but it's a great tool, really is. And it's helped us communicate not just with the team in-house, but also external team globally. It's a fantastic tool.
Absolutely. So in the interest of time, I don't know that we've got time to do a live demo. Plus, logistically, it's a little bit clunky with the presentation on my screen and Luke doing a live demo. However, Luke is one of our digital champions and mentors on the program. So I'm going to cover off later on in the webinar how you can actually access one-on-one time with Luke, which is pretty cool. And like I said, this program is this amazing resource to you, you know, kindly subsidized by Sunshine Coast Council. So guys, jump on board and take advantage to, you know, some of the talents such as Luke and get further insight into some of these cool tools.
Definitely.
Future communication and collaboration. So we're just going to touch a little bit on, you know, where technology is heading in the space of communication and collaboration. Of course, video is major. We're going to see more video already in existence. We've got Skype and Google Hangouts, but you know, Facebook for work, I believe, is sort of moving even more so into this space, right?
Yeah, definitely. We're touching upon that in just a moment as well.
Yeah, fantastic. So webinar 4, which is next week, is actually delving deeper into video conferencing and some of the cool stuff you can do with that. Yeah, social media, Facebook Messenger. So, you know, we're seeing more businesses using Facebook Messenger. We're seeing more customers communicating with businesses via Facebook Messenger. Can you tell us a little bit more, Luke, about, you know, I guess like auto responses and message bots and things like that, just to touch on briefly?
Yeah, definitely. So Facebook Messenger, obviously it's this messaging program built into Facebook and it's connected to your business page. Now there's two differences here. You've got a personal profile that you use to log into Facebook and a business page that represents your business. So this is the Messenger connected with your business page. This is actually a very powerful tool. For those of you that actually have a WordPress website, there's an integration between your WordPress website and the Facebook Messenger. So you can actually have somebody use Facebook Messenger whilst looking at your website to contact you and chat with you. And it's something we've implemented on a number of our clients' websites. It's definitely something worth taking hold of. The great thing about it is it's instant communication. Now, how many times have you sent an email to someone or used one of their contact forms and then you just sit back and wait for whenever they might reply and hope that they've got the information for you directly? Well, this is real time. And Facebook actually will reward you for how quickly you respond to people and give you badges on your business page to help promote that you're a quick responder. There is also, as you mentioned just now, there are canned responses. So you can actually, you see on that screen on the right-hand side there, you've got a response assistant. You can actually set up certain responses based on information that people actually type in. And there are bots, and these are obviously robots that you can connect that will assist you with this. Think of it like a digital assistant. So there's a lot of integrations here, but it's a powerful tool because it's about quick online communication.
Absolutely. And I love the term, don't let perfect get in the way of better. You don't have to launch into using Facebook Messenger and have all the canned response going and, integration, small steps. This program is all about just, upskilling, moving up a level. If you've never used Facebook Messenger, maybe you can, try and implement it within your business and open it up as a channel to potentially get leads and, master it and then move up another level, add another level of depth through, canned responses and things like that. Facebook for work, pretty new, right?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I'd love to see a show of hands of how many people actually knew about this, but strangely enough, I can't see your hands. So yeah, it's a very, very new facility. Facebook's actually been trialing it over the last year with around about 2,000 businesses. So this isn't just a product that they thought they'd push out. They've actually adjusted based on feedback and tweaked and created this digital product. It's a little bit like Slack, like we just mentioned, but it's in, I suppose, a familiar interface. A lot of people know about Facebook. If you don't, then this is probably the right program for you to be on, that's for sure. And so if any of you used Facebook groups, that's one of the core features of Workplace. But the quickest and easiest way to sum it up, it's a bit like having your own social network for your business. That's it. You can still use the live chat, the Facebook Messenger, but between staff and business colleagues. You've got your groups, which you can repurpose to talk about topics or categories or projects. You can do document upload and sharing. And eventually, they say they're going to allow you to actually edit those documents directly in there. But for now, all you can do is upload and share them. You can set access so that certain people can see certain groups and certain documents. And that news feed that you're so familiar with when you log into Facebook, there's that own version for the Workplace by Facebook, which talks about everything that people's putting in, everyone, all the staff, all your team members, they're actually putting in terms of updating statuses and putting in text updates, links, uploading documents. So it really is, it's just imagine Facebook, but you get rid of all those nice photos and those funny animations and those videos, and it's all about how the company communicates. It's like your internal communication tool. It's going to be very powerful.
No more cat videos.
Please, no, I do want
So just a quick case study, and we're going to open up for questions, but we use at a simple level of a secret Facebook group within our team. So we've got, 44 members in our Facebook group, across our team and some of our contractors, etc. I think our executive coach is even in here on our group. This is all, work-related stuff. Sometimes it's the odd funny, I guess this is like the water cooler. So when operating a business across multiple locations with team members that might be out on the road or a different office or whatever it may be, this is kind of like gathering around the water cooler to, have a quick joke or go, hey, can I catch up later on that project or whatever it may be. So we're really, really active in our Facebook group with the Creative Collective. Other ways that this can be used and that I've seen Facebook groups used is like a depository as well for social media content. So, if coming up with content to post to your social media channels such as Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever is a real challenge for your business, you might think about setting up an internal Facebook group where you invite various different team members that as they come across useful articles or content or whatever it may be, that they share it within the group. And then it's almost like a little, depository where all those things are saved and stored come time to schedule social media. So I'm going to just exit presentation mode so I can read some of your questions out at the moment. Before I do, I'm very conscious that some of you may need to toddle off. So if that is the case, feel free to get your questions in and we'll do our very best to answer them. This, of course, will be recorded. So if you do miss out on your answer and you have to run off, you know, you can listen back to the recording and, you know, skip straight ahead to the end and hear the answer to your question. Just quickly before I do exit presentation mode, I just want to take you very briefly through the options available to you on this program. Here are our topics. So there are 12 levels to the program. We're obviously up to level 3, communication and collaboration tools. We're going to be looking at video conferencing, you know, online accounting, point of sale and e-commerce solutions, accounting and payroll, procedures and systems online, and storage facilities like Dropbox, G Drive, etc. We're going to look at automation. So automations is definitely one of my favorites. So that's about getting, you know, different systems that you're using, talking and speaking together. Amazing efficiencies to be found with that one. So yeah, if I can put a little shout out for level 8, that's my favorite. Level 9, you know, customer experiences and how you can use online systems such as PBX phone systems and CRMs and the likes. You know, customer satisfaction tools, surveying, polls, all that kind of cool jazz. Level 11, you know, they're not going to be relevant to all businesses, but there are things like learning management systems where you can completely deliver online courses, online project management systems and more. And then finally, level 4, you can learn all about open data and how you can use it in your business, data analytics, reporting, etc. So once you've got everything in place, how do you evaluate it, or how do you interpret what is happening within your business? Engagement options. So we've had information sessions. They were free. If you've missed them and you want to learn more about the program, pop on to levelup.sunshinecoast.queensland.gov.au/events and you can find a recording of the information session there. Option 3, you can attend one or more in-person workshops. So each workshop is about a half a day. It covers 3 to 4 of the topics or levels. There's $75 per person to attend per workshop. So 3 or 4 topics in those. You've got the webinars, which obviously you're on tonight. They're free to attend, or if you do need to access recordings later on, they're $25. Option 5 is obviously the one of best value. So you can register for the full program. Basically, you will have access to all 12 levels. You can take part in webinars and the live workshops at no extra cost. It's $295 for the entire program. And best of all, you can actually bring along 3 or more participants from your company. So you can basically have, you know, a team of 4 people attend, you know, essentially 4 live workshops and, you know, jumping on specific webinars as you need. In addition to that, with the full program, you also get access to the online resource portal. You get access to the Facebook group, and very, very cool, you get access to the mentors. So to access mentors, you basically log into the portal and you can fill a form out there to request a session with a particular digital champion. So I've covered off the program components there. You can book a session, as I just touched on, with a mentor of your choosing to gain further assistance in implementing some of this stuff within your business. So guys, take advantage of this. It's, like I said, it's heavily subsidized by Sunshine Coast Council. Sunshine Coast wants you to get involved. They want to see the Sunshine Coast businesses, you know, upskilling and really leading the way in the way of you know, digital tools and you know, getting online. So take advantage. I mean, there's some amazing talent available to you. Some of our digital champions, there's a whole heap more. We've got Luke there as well, and your Facebook group. So I'm going to exit out of there. You've got some upcoming dates there. If you're not sure of the dates, again, pop onto the website, levelup.sunshinecoast.queensland.gov.au/events. And on that site as well, you can learn a whole lot more about the program. So bear with me here. The screen is going to have a little tiny meltdown, as it does.
Oh, yes.
Where are we? You're not going to believe it. It actually looks like it's frozen up. Have you got the questions there in front of you, Luke? Are you able to run through some of those?
Yes, I do. I've tried to answer them as we've gone along.
Cool.
Kayla actually asked about Gmail and whether we use the, it's come up for you now, the normal iPhone mailbox or use a separate app. So my suggestion was actually to use the Gmail app for iPhone, just because it's got a better experience in there. It's actually built in.
Oh, sorry, guys. I don't know if I might have had a bit of a technical glitch there.
We're back?
Yep, we're back. Sorry about that.
Fantastic. So yeah, I was just talking about the using the Gmail app for iPhone, just because it's been designed to use specifically for Gmail, and it's got all the tools and relevant functions that you're used to in Gmail for a browser, but directly on your phone. That's not to say that the email app in the iPhone isn't any good. It's just it's not. Let's say it's not designed with Gmail in mind. So there's some definitely benefits there. Christine was talking about the Rescue Time app and whether it's free. Yes, it is. There is a free version. There's also a paid version too, which gives you a little bit more analytics on there too. And also Christine asked whether Rescue Time works across multiple browsers. It does work across a large number of browsers, but of course there are so many out there, it's not guaranteed to work on all of them, but it'll work on the majority of the modern day ones there. You can go to rescuetime.com to find out more information about that.
Cool.
Kayla was asking about the difference between G Suite and Google Docs. Was just saying G Suite is basically the umbrella or all-encompassing name for all the different apps that Google has. And so that includes Google Docs, Google Hangouts, and all that kind of stuff. And then Sandy was just saying that unfortunately she was a little bit behind due to work, couldn't get to the beginning of this this awesome webinar, and was just asking whether she can watch a recording again, saying yes, you can.
Absolutely. So I believe webinars are free to attend. If you aren't a full program participant, it's $25 to access the recording, or you can take part in the full program for $2.95 and get access to all the recordings and all the resources. Cool. At the same time, so Rescue Time seems to be a bit of a popular topic here, which doesn't surprise me. It's a really cool little tool. I think that's it for the questions, guys. If you have any final questions, just pop them through on the chat at the moment, and we'll try and cover those off before we sign off. So I'll just give it another 30 seconds or so to see if anything comes in before we end the broadcast. But while we are waiting for that, Luke, thank you so much for your time and your expertise. And I absolutely love hearing, you know, effectively another agency on the coast, you know, different perspective on some of these cool tools. And I love the fact that, you know, there's many tools that we're both using and some that, you know, it's a bit of friendly rivalry on. So very cool.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, this is just a classic example again about collaboration. You know, yeah, we are two separate agencies. We're in the same or very similar industry, yet we're here collaborating to try and help as many businesses as possible. So, you know, it's not just about the tools, but it's also about the collaboration between different businesses. And that's really what we're talking about here. It's really about how you all come together, no matter where you are and what you're doing and what devices you have.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. And that's one of the reasons why the Level Up program is so fantastic, because you're not just going to one particular business and, you know, finding out what they want to recommend, or getting pushed the products or applications that, you know, they perhaps get a kickback for, or whatever it may be. You're getting really objective advice from lots of different experts, you know, predominantly on the coast on a range of different topics. So, you know, it's great from that respect. So it doesn't look like we've got any more questions tonight, so we will leave it there. Guys, thank you so much for jumping on of a Tuesday evening. We've had a fantastic turnout. Reminder for webinar 4 next week on video conferencing, and do jump onto the Level Up website and learn more about the program if you're not already involved. Thank you again, and I will talk to you all soon. I will be presenting, I think, on some later webinars. Luke, are you down for any more presenting, or just...
Yes, I've been penciled down for a few, so we're just finalising which ones are. But of course, if you're part of the full program, you can access me as a mentor to help you with both these and other areas of your business as well.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, guys. We'll end it there, and have a good evening. See you later.
Bye.